I'm probably off to die now. That's what I told Zach and Lindsay last Wednesday after the kids' MMA class because something felt wrong. I'm usually ducking out to eat, then back in the evening to help and participate in the beginners BJJ class. And I'm usually in a good mood. I just finished having fun, but instead I was taking physical inventory of how my body felt as I was walking home. Aches in the knees and elbows, and I was starting to lose my voice. And I felt some dizziness. This is less unusual. The barometer swings up and down in Victoria here, and I've kind of mapped those headaches, but this felt like there was a balloon attached to my head. I was definitely getting sick. But I don't get sick. The barometer doesn't involve germs, so it isn't illness. It's just weather. Actual sickness just doesn't happen to me. I see sick people around me, and most of the time I wonder what they're doing wrong. I see people sneezing and coughing in grocery stores, and I literally turn around and walk the other way. I see people having fun vaping and smoking and eating fast food. Not the vaping, that's never been nor will it ever be cool. Instead, I only eat plants and I watch my sugar intake and a bunch of other stuff I used to only think was for old people and bores the shit out of everyone when I bring it up. I don't tell myself it's a choice. Hubris demands I frame it as sacrifice so I can keep weirder hours than anybody else at the day job, so I can work graveyard shifts with less sleep than anyone else I know, so I can fit in running a gym with Jessica in our spare time and keep playing jiu-jitsu on the regular. Oh, and be a good husband and spend quality time with the person I agreed to spend the rest of my life with. All in the same 24 hours a day that every human that has ever existed has. Germs don't care about any of that. As I was writing this, there was a gap in my memory between that inventory taking on the sidewalk and Jessica stabbing the wrong end of a lollipop into my mouth. It was a beeping lollipop with a little LED screen that read 39.4. 39.4 what? She's taking my temperature, but who does that in Celsius and not Fahrenheit? Even in Canada, this is unusual and means nothing to me. She's trying to get me to drink some water and eat some pills, and I don't want either. I just wanted to sleep. There's a back and forth, and I concede, and I take my medicine and fall back asleep to watch the clock jump a couple of hours every time I turn over through the night and most of the next day. There's more of the lollipop shaped thermometer being stabbed into my mouth, more bossy wife making me drink water and eat pills, and suddenly I'm upright in the living room looking at some instant noodles. And it's not the day where I eat whatever the hell I want. And these aren't plant-based noodles, and I don't give a damn. They're awesome, and I'm hungry, and they're delicious. They were Shin Ramyun, by the way. And I start to think about the things that I do give a damn about, like the companion social media videos like this and posts from last week's newsletter, my responsibilities at the gym, and a stack of emails that aren't being replied to. I just can't do anything about any of that yet. But they're on my radar and I'm thinking about them again. I'm coming out of it, which is good because I have class at 6:30 a.m. the next day. I didn't make it. I was still sick when I woke up at 4 a.m. I didn't need the stupid Celsius thermometer to tell me I was fevered. I can feel my body running hotter than it should be, and I'm congested. I can't go to BJJ. It just feels wrong. And just what the hell is the point of all these habits and systems if I can't go to class? I was pouting. In that moment, I didn't think about the absolute attendance streak that I'd gone on for months before this had happened. This single 72-hour window last week was all I could perceive in the moment. Me, 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 me. My systems, my sacrifices, my jujitsu. The self-absorption passed eventually. I realized showing up feverish and blowing snot everywhere isn't being tough, it's being a biohazard. I'd be making the gym worse. I'd spread this to everyone else. And forcing myself to go play jiu-jitsu after days of probably nothing more than instant noodles, I realized if I got worse, it would be Jessica who would be driving me to the hospital, and all my sacrificing would be a liability for her to manage. Now, I remembered what I said to Zach and Lindsay stepping out the door And I realized I should probably just check in instead of no showing in case they go thinking something actually bad had happened. I was still pouting as I sent the text. I was resistant to the fact I was sick. I have systems in place that are supposed to prevent this. A complete diet change, but even before that, smaller, simpler rules like never touching my face in public. I was a chronic nail biter until I rode the subway in Bucheon in 2005. I got off the subway and my hand felt, I don't know, a little oily or sticky or something. When my fingers went impulsively to my mouth, some part of my brain pressed the override button and I realized what I'd almost done. I was aware of how gross that would have been, but it was a lifelong habit up to that point. I definitely did the gross thing a few times, got sick a few times, but what took a lifetime to build up collapsed in the space of a month or two. But even before that, just hand washing in general. Before food, wash hands. After bathroom, wash hands. Easy, especially since I know everyone doesn't do that. We do washroom care at the day job, like odor controls, feminine hygiene, chemical dispensers. And I spend a percentage of my day lurking outside of washrooms, waiting for the coast to be clear. I'm in an account one day, and a manager walks out of the washroom and she tells me that she'll be my spotter once the other stall is empty. We chat for a few minutes, hear a flush in the distance, and then the person just walks out wearing a hairnet, walking in the direction of the kitchen. The manager gives me a horrified look, which I probably returned, apologizes, and then runs off explaining she's going to fix it. And it's not just the men. I've been told my whole life that this is a problem with men, that it's us by a large margin that don't wash our hands, that somehow women are the safer part of the population. The day job disabused me of that notion pretty quick. It's actually 50-50. From what I've seen day to day, it's half of the population that doesn't wash their hands after using the bathroom. Somehow that self-observed statistic of the unwashed really got me to double down on not touching my face after I touch anything in public. I'd be invincible. Oh, and then COVID happened. And while everyone was arguing about whether or not masking was effective, I went out and bought a pair of books written by epidemiologists. The first, by the writer I learned a lot about from plant based. The second, the celebrity public health officer of British Columbia. And then I did the World Health Organization hand washing course that explained unless you've used the bathroom or are about to eat or handle food or your hands are soiled, sanitizer is the better choice. Normal people use COVID as an excuse to play video games and binge Netflix. I got excited about hand hygiene and I still get sick despite the books, despite the hand washing courses, despite being good about not touching my face. Maybe it was a kid at the gym that made me sick, or maybe a sneezing person at the grocery store, or maybe I put my fingers in my mouth after pumping some gas. It doesn't matter. The important takeaway for me is that most of the time my systems work, and that two experts both agree that the best way to stay healthy is to wash our hands. It keeps me healthy most of the time and on the mats as frequently as I want. These rare occasions are the exception. I realized it's not just us. We think our health is just for us. And after this week, I'm going to try and catch that thinking. I'm married and I own a business. I have a community that I participate in at Lolacana. And I like my colleagues and my clients at the day job. My health, our health, is pro-social. There's no one playing combat sports with any level of expertise alone in a gym or out in the woods or in a cave. It's not about us. We need people to practice with, and even in competition, we need someone to play against. There's nothing we can do once we're sick. The responsible thing is to stay home. But when we're healthy, we wash our hands so everyone can keep showing up. As jiu-jitsu players, as jiu-jitsu hobbyists, our absences are noticed. The most respectful thing we can do is everything we can do in our power to stay on the mats.